How many people can say they've helped their mom manifest something and manifest something big? Well, this is what happened. I helped my mom manifest her dream partner, her dream relationship. My mom is a great woman, and she has been single for a long time, divorced for a long time, and it was time for her to find a partner. And the thought of getting out there in the world was scary for her. She was very specific on the type of partner she wanted. And because I've been in this field of spirituality and mysticism for a long time, and she would secretly read my stuff when I was younger, and we would have these deep conversations. It was pretty easy for her to learn some new things that amazed me when she actually put it into practice. So this video is gonna let you know exactly what she did to help manifest her dream partner, the lessons learned, the techniques she used, and hopefully you can try it yourself, learn from it, and manifest your dream partner, dream relationship, or whatever it is you want to manifest. So my name is Jonathan, and if you're not a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. The content that I drop is going to be unique, sometimes life changing. At the most, it's going to be something that's going to help you. So back to my mom. Now, manifestation thing, she saw back in the days, she saw the video The Secret. She read, she was reading Louise Hay and the Hicks and all that stuff. So she was very familiar with that stuff, but it didn't internalize into her yet, meaning she didn't put it into practice. Her unconscious mind was, digesting it, working with it, because she came from a primarily like a strong religious background. But some of the principles she agreed with and she could connect with. So when it came time to manifesting now, what's interesting is this is what she did. She didn't do a vision board. She didn't use her imagination and visualization traditionally. She didn't do any of those things. She did something else. And that something else was extremely powerful, and it worked, and it was simple, and it was easy. And she just did it one time, and that was it. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned. So what is it? What did she do? Well, simply, she just drew an image, and she's not an artist. She's not, a professional artist. She doesn't draw at all. But something compelled her to draw, and she sketched out and drew what that dream partner was. She already was very clear in her mind, in her emotions, and in the conversations with people exactly what she wanted. But the drawing was something that was magical. Why? Well, because the act of drawing, it's more than just intention. You're putting energy into something. You are giving something life by making it physical, by transforming your thought and your feelings into something on paper, just like writing down your goals. But because it was a sketch and it was a symbolic representation of her intention, the subconscious understands that. It gets that. It communicates through symbolism and through images, because she put meaning and strong intent into that. It really got the attention of the subconscious mind. So she drew and sketched the picture out, and it wasn't even a detailed sketch, because she can't really draw. It wasn't the stick figures either. So don't just go draw stick fingers. Stick characters. I don't know. Could it work? Who knows? But it was the best she could do to map and sketch out. Now, there's something really powerful about that, getting involved in that art of creation, spending time on that, dreaming that up, putting her intention in. And she then let it go. Now, the part afterwards is where I think many of you listening can benefit from. And that is what she had to learn in the process. So the process was actually teaching her. And manifestation, the art of manifestation, when done right, actually helps grow you. because it's going to expose your limiting beliefs. It's going to expose how you feel about life, what you trust, what you don't, your worthiness. It's going to bring up these things because you're holding up on one idea something you feel you don't have, and on the other hand, it's going to bring up all the issues or the contradictions of it. So it really tests you. It really tests your belief and your faith. And so that's why I say manifesting actually grows. You can grow your character because you can develop these strong beliefs and this trust in yourself, this trust in life, this trust in, the divine powers within you. The skills that manifesting teaches, mental skills, are skills that you actually need for life. And so what are some of these skills? So one of the things she had to master, really everybody has to master, was the art of having a desire without longing. Can you hold a desire without the feeling of longing? Because that taints your desire, that weakens your desire. That's introducing a lack of whether it's a frustration that it's taking too long or it's not coming or all this stuff, or you don't believe in it, or this secret longing as to how come I don't have it and how come others have it. Now, here's where the brain can trick you a little, but you can use it to your advantage. And I'm gonna drop this, so listen up. So you ever, buy a new car, or you I don't know, you go out and buy a piece of clothing, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it everywhere. Like you went and you bought a brand new silver car, certain brand, and then all of a sudden you start seeing them everywhere. Well, what's happening? Well, what's happening is this part of our brain, one of the older part of our brains, the RAS system, it is designed to select things about reality. It's where we get our selective attention from. So it's now going to pay attention to all the silver cars now. It's going to bring that to your attention. It's going to filter out the rest of reality and bring that to your attention. And so, the silver cars were always there, but they weren't important to you, so you filtered them out. What tends to now? How does that relate to manifesting? I'll let you know. What tends to happen is when people are manifesting, the problem is the gap between what they want and their manifestation. This is where they kind of, they get shaky a little, is because they now start seeing the thing, but they feel that gap of not having it. So for example, trying to manifest a new partner, all of a sudden now you start noticing people in relationships, people holding hands. There's movies that come on about relationships, and that can be used properly as a sign that, hey, my RAS system, my subconscious is on the case. This is great. But what happens is the conscious mind comes in a lot of times, and that becomes a reason why they can't have it. It becomes a longing. It becomes a missing out. I don't have it. And it can activate that loneliness, or that, well, how come others have it, but I don't? And that's where people go wrong in manifesting a lot, is when they start seeing those objects appearing in their reality. They don't see it as a good thing, as proof that, this thing is on its way. They see it as, how come I don't have it? It's like rubbing it in my face. I can't have it. And then they go to a frequency that doesn't match it. So what's interesting is I saw this journey with my mom as she went through that period a little bit of, she made a statement to me one time saying, man, this is taking long, is this even working? So I saw that happening, and I saw her going through her battle, but she knew what she had to do. She had tools, she had practices, and she went back and continued that. And then a little time later on, I noticed she stopped talking like that. She just basically let it go, which is where you want to be, in that space of letting it go. That space of just neutrality after a while. You fired up your desire, you fired up your intention. Now you're in this space of being neutral. And I knew at that point that she was in a good space and something magical was going to happen. The next thing is expectation. Expectation is so powerful. Our brain, our nervous system. I'm always going to say this. It's a expectation machine. Its job is just to predict, and show you these predictions and confirm these predictions. It fills in the gap with what it expects to see, so it filters out other things, right? So once you know this now, you can again use this to your advantage. Start preparing yourself, preparing your mind for this thing without without having the longing, right? So make room, make space for this thing. What do you got to do? Imagine that thing was showing up today. How would you prepare for it? How get into that feeling of knowing it's already yours, and so how would you start preparing for it? If you're traveling, you got to update your passport, making sure you have luggage, making sure you might get some new wardrobe. So just think, these are expectation actions that trigger things within us and can help program and support this new reality. So I know my mom was doing some of that in her own way. She was getting her mind ready, getting her environment ready. And then there was quiet, nothing, completely forgot about it, which again is one of the best states. She forgot about it. And one day, out of the blue, she got a phone call. She's like, hello? Guy on the other hand turned out to be an old friend from childhood. And she's like, oh, okay, how's it going? How'd you get my number? It's like, oh, your sister gave it to me. Oh, really? Yeah, I just decided to reach out to see how you're doing. They hadn't spoke in maybe 40 years or something like that. And immediately, the connection was forged. It turned out to be her dream partner. Everything she had envisioned, what she drew, everything. It was magical, divine, amazing, and such an inspiration for everybody else. And so me just observing these things and taking notes and watching her go through that process, I was amazed. And I was amazed at how she made the magic her own by drawing. So it's not always about a vision board. It's not always about just using your imagination, although that is one of the heavy keys. But sometimes if you're called to draw out your intention, you don't have to be a great drawer. It doesn't have to be detailed. The idea is, what are you putting into this? Putting in focus, you're putting in strong intention, desire, and you're very clear as well as to what this thing will do for you when you get it, what you want to feel, what this thing is going to bring to your life. Sketch it out. The act of drawing is very powerful. In ancient times, they felt that images themselves were extremely powerful, and so they were very careful about the images they made because they felt they contained power. That certainly the mind and the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you're drawing as an image and reality. Only our conscious mind is going to say that's just a drawing. But your subconscious does not know. It just sees it as the real thing, especially when you have your desire fired up and you have your intention and your expectation. So, it's the end of this video. Use this technique, practice these principles, and watch your manifestations soar. Watch how you become a manifestation master. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe for more. Peace.